this latest video has been a bit delayed from what I planned, just because I have been ill as fuck for the last few days. Like, pretty much bedridden. I just feel rough as. To be honest, I don't feel that much better today, but I had loads to do and I felt better enough to actually be able to drive here. So here I am, and MR2 looks a bit different to when you last saw it. It looks pretty standard again. The spoiler's gone, badges are gone, and yeah, it's time to make this basically be sleeper mode. With the new drag radials, I'm going to put the wheel trims on them and everything, so you won't even be able to see what the wheels are. And yeah, basically I wasn't quite happy with how it looked, and I tried loads of ways of making it look better, and I wasn't really happy with any of them. So if I can't make it look good, I'll make it look standard. So sleeper it is. The exhaust is going to be, I would say, invisible. I'm probably going to have it facing the ground. Yeah, no spoiler. Maybe it'll get the Skoda badge back. Maybe it'll get some cat stickers. Maybe, I don't fucking know. But yeah, it's going to look very ordinary. So yeah, just like I said, it's what I said in the last video about the spoiler, the back sticking out too much. Still don't like it, but I got the back bumper of this one and butchered it as a test, and look, I've took a couple of inches out of it and it looks a lot better. But is it worth the effort on this one with all the fiberglass in and whatever to make a decent bumper out of it? Will I still, you know, will I be happy with the looks enough? Nah, fuck it. You know, I'm not into how a car looks that much. I'm more into, well, I'm mostly into racing people. So yeah, bollocks to looks. I just, you know, I want to go fast, and this is going to go fast. So yeah, no spoiler. I'm going to keep the vent in the bonnet at the front because A, it's that thing again with not wanting to look too standard, and B, I want to minimise front end lift. You know, I don't need downforce as such. It's got to have all the weight go, you know, most of the weight's at the back anyway. It's got enough weight at the back. It's the front lifting it is the problem, front lifting at speed. So the vent in the bonnet is needed. I mean, fucking hell, maybe it needs more than that, I don't know. Alright, so remember in the last video I said about the, obviously I had the fancy tubular manifold made up of the NA1 that I'd have to have done a bit of fabricating on, but it was a lot like the Group 5 Lancia Monte Carlo turbo setup, which I love because it's one of my favourite cars ever. And obviously I had the exhaust out there. It would have been loud and all that, but fuck it, it'd be worth it. The cars be a weapon. But then I also said, you know what, if that other option it may work, the SPA cast twin scroll T3 manifold fitted as well as I thought it would. Well, I thought it might, but I still thought it'd need a fair bit of maybe cutting of the rear panel there to make everything, you know, turbo and all that fit. But I thought if it fitted well, then for the sake of zero fabrication and the fact it'd probably allow me a proper exhaust system, then I might go for it. I mean, it's 450 quid and I didn't want to spend that, but that's hardly any money in the grand scheme of things. I'd probably be spending approximately that, probably a bit less, in fabrication parts, and not to mention my own time fabricating to make the other one work. So money wise wasn't a lot in it. Let me show you something. It's on, it fits, literally. I bought one the other day. I thought I really can't be bothered doing any fabrication if I don't need to, so I thought, fuck it, I'll take a punt and buy one of these. And wow, it fits far better than I thought it would. they have dimensions on the website of where it is, but it yeah, I must have done the measuring wrong, or maybe it's because of the angle the engine is mounted compared to, you know, if it's not standing up straight, it's leant back on this setup. I don't know, whatever it was, but it fits better than I thought. So literally whoop, straight on. And yeah, even the wastegate, you know, there's room for that, because that's what I thought maybe, is either the turbo would hit this or the wastegate would hit, or both, or all three, and I'd have to cut this out and refabricate at least this bit. Wouldn't be a big deal, but you know, it's still work. But manifold straight on. So yeah, I guess you want to see if the turbo fits, don't you? 1 second. Basically, in a word, yes, fits absolutely fine. Not a problem. Quite surprised, to be honest, but fucking brilliant. So job done. There's no way in hell I would not run this manifold now. It works, simple as that. There's no doubt in my mind this manifold can way exceed my goals of like 500 horsepower. Somebody who weirdly, I don't understand because it makes no sense. I saw somebody basically slagging off this manifold the other day on an internet discussion which happened to mention this manifold. And he was basically saying it was shit, but it didn't make sense what he was saying. And I asked him some questions, and I didn't really expect an answer because he just seemed like he was talking crap. But then he said he made 645 brake on it. How's it shit if you made 645 brake on it? Out of a 57mm turbo as well, which is tiny and sort of more than I would say is usually capable of 645 brake. So whether it was all lies or what, I don't know. It might have been truth. So it's either a good manifold, which it is a good design, I can see that, as a cast manifold goes. So it's either a really good manifold or he was talking pure shit, but either way, it's more than capable of my goals. I only want, you know, 500 brake would be fine, more than enough. If it makes more, great, but 500 brake's fine. To be honest, what I call 500 brake, most people seem to call in the internet fucking 850 or something stupid anyway. You know, people running 140 mile an hour in a quarter mile and say, oh, I've got 850 brake. It's like, don't think you have, mate. But, you know, so I don't really care about power. I know my performance goals, and like about 140 and a quarter would be mint. And I reckon with this car, this weight, you'd probably do that with 500. But either way, this is the manifold and turbo setup I'm going with. And yeah, it is badass. Pretty big too, but as you can see, good clearance. So, very happy with that. And looks to me like there's plenty of room for an exhaust. Right, so imagine how it looks now, but with that rear bumper panel either back as the original plastic panel that normally goes on there, which looks a bit shit but it works, or maybe just some black mesh, something so you can't see through it anyway. But big ass silencer, 4-inch exhaust, barely visible. Yeah, it's gonna work. Let me take the bumper off, I'll show you what I've done. That, my friends, is a big fuck off silencer. It's not actually heavy. Honestly, I can't remember how much it weighs, but it's light. It's about, if I'm right, it's about 5 kilos or so. It's not heavy. It's lighter than a lot of silencers that are half the fucking size. This was last used on my in-car turbo Mercedes V8, and if you look back at videos of that, you know how quiet that thing was. So yeah, it doesn't weigh a lot. It's got room. It's 4-inch straight through, and it's quiet. So yeah, as a fairly sleepery car goes, this is the one. I mean, don't get me wrong, this car's not going to be that quiet, and it's going to have a screamer pipe too, so on full boost it's going to be loud as fuck. But for, you know, pottering around and stuff, it's not going to be super loud, and it's not going to have a super visible tailpipe because it's going to be like that. So yeah, it's on the piss on purpose because A, it helps fitment because it clears the chassis rail on that side, and also it means less bends or less tight bends. If it was straight out, it'd be 90, 90, 90. Like this, it's going to be like 90, maybe 245s in a straight. I don't know, something like that. It's going to be a little bit less bends, and it looks weird, but it's not going to be visible. And in a way, I like the fact it looks weird. Even if it was visible, I kind of like that idea. Because I like being, well, I like people going, what the fuck? That's probably the only reason I might put the Skoda badge back on the back of this, sleeper or not, because it seems to upset people. The amount of times I get people posted, oh my god, why has it got a Skoda badge on it? It's like, cause it's got a fucking Skoda engine in it. When I first said about this to Thomas, he said I would need a flex pipe, especially being such a big exhaust. And the only realistic way of doing a flex pipe would be going 90 and run the exhaust down there, then back, then into the silencer, then out there. And that's a whole shitload of extra piping I didn't want to do. It's just like, nah, fuck that. And yeah, I wasn't convinced about the flex pipe thing. The reason Thomas said though is because this car originally, the original setup, and the hard acceleration did move back. You know, it rotated under acceleration. The engine mounts couldn't hold it in place, even though there's 4 of them. But that is going to be sorted. Basically, I have got a rated, I mean, they're all rated anyway, they are TRD engine mounts. But I was speaking again, thankfully I've got him to bounce ideas off because he's been there and done it, and it's a very, very similar setup, so it's ideal. But Lee Connor with the Elise, I said to him about it and the flex pipe thing and all that. He said, well, he goes, as long as your engine mounts are solid, he goes, you won't need a flex pipe. He goes, that's what he's found. But he said it's more than that. You really, really want your engine mounts to be solid anyway, because it helped him tons. His mounts aren't completely solid, but I'll explain that in a second. Before the engine had no more movement, he was ripping the actual, well, not even ripping the mounts, he was snapping the fucking bolts of the engine mounts practically every time he launched it. And he said even though he had like poly mounts, he managed to video, you know, the mounts on launch, and you could see them like stretching and compressing like 2 inches, even though like normally, you know, with human strength trying to sort of yank them around and whatever, you'd have no movement. But I think that's what he said. It was a lot anyway. Fuck knows, way too much. And yeah, he was snapping mounts and all sorts. And yeah, that is going to be part of the reason I'm putting things like drive shafts under so much stress and all that too. And what he said was, he said it's the side engine mounts, not a problem, because obviously this engine is transverse, so the movement is that way and that way. Mostly the stress is on this mount. This is the important one, the rear one. The front one, yeah, he said, you know, stronger the better, but it doesn't have to be a solid one. So I've bought a very hard poly mount for the front, but the rear, he said, just make a solid one. He said if it's attached to your, if it's gearbox to subframe, so not engine to chassis, he goes, it doesn't actually transmit terrible vibrations into the car. So he said this fine, and just make it solid. He said that's what he's done. He sent me pictures and I'm going to copy it, and it's easy for me because I've already got the rear mount, but mine is poly, and also I've never been particularly happy with it anyway, how it is. But he sent me what he did. It's very simple, and it's going to be to the same place, probably still using Thomas's, the bits he's fabricated, but chucking away the Volkswagen bit I'm running and making a solid one from there to the engine, and it should be fine. Even with, and he said just put this on normal rubber mounts so it's got a bit of movement, which obviously I was going to anyway, and he said you shouldn't have a problem. But more importantly, I mean, to be honest, it's like, oh, whoopie do, even if I did have a problem in it and it cracked the exhaust every now and again, so what? It'd take me 10 minutes to weld it up. It's not like I'm going to crack the manifold because it's a cast iron one. But most importantly, it eliminates the vast majority of engine movement, which means the transmission, the drive shafts, everything's going to be a lot happier when launching and less likely to explode everywhere. Oh, by the way, that exhaust is about 2 inches from the rear anti-roll bar, by the way. It's not touching it or anything. I've literally made a gap. There's plenty of room between that, the anti-roll bar, and the back bumper. So now I just got to figure out that bit there, and we're all good. Well, that worked out easier than I expected. I've done it already. Shazam. Literally, that was from parts I already had lying around. So yeah, I'm very fucking happy with that. Bumper goes on, everything. Just in case you wasn't sure if the bumper would go on with the exhaust. Yeah, no problem. A few spot welds later and it's on. So it's going to be V-band at the turbo, V-band at the silencer, and although there's a V-band there, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to cut that off and have the tailpipe bend welded directly to it, because a V-band there serves no purpose and it adds extra width, which makes things more difficult with clearance there, whereas if I have this directly on there, it gives loads more room. So yeah, aside from making some hangers, which I'll do, I reckon, one there and one on the original one there, and it'll be done. Good times. Now the tailpipe's on. Couldn't get much more sneaky for a 4-inch turbo back exhaust, could you? But yeah, just trimmed a bit of the bumper there. Might trim a little bit more. It does clear, but maybe a bit more. Either way, won't be able to really see it apart from when massive fucking flames come out of it. So yeah, pretty badass. Just got to make the hangers, but I'll be doing that another day now because I've run out of time. I've only been here a few hours today, but I got quite a lot done. Quite surprised how much I got done, seeing as I feel like shit. But I need to go now because I've got other things I need to do. I'm many days behind after being ill. But plenty of room. Let me take the bumper off again, I'll show you. The current exhaust hanger is a cable tie, but it'll do the job for now. But yeah, that is now my 4-inch turbo back exhaust. And yeah, it's pretty fucking serious. How loud it's gonna be, no idea. Yeah, very happy with that. Pretty chuffed, to be honest. Looks badass and it will do the job. Proper sleeper mode. It's exactly what I wanted. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Just so I can get a shortish video out for you lot, since it's been over a week. No, I haven't done anything to finish the engines off yet, because, well, those wankers I bought the valve spring compressor off, well, it didn't turn up. and I opened the case and kicked off and all that. They've kept stalling and stalling, and even after I asked for a refund the other day, they just carried on stalling. Then today they was like, if you'd like for us to give you a refund, let us know. It's like I said the other day, you pricks, they're just stalling again. So whether they've even refunded me by the time this video comes up, I don't know. I've asked them to, but hey, who knows. It's hardly any money either. It's like 15 fucking quid, but they're just messing me about. But at least now it's beyond the time where I know it ain't even turning up, so I just order another one. But it's obviously, it's put me back a week, but then again I was ill as well, so that's put me back a bit more. So yeah, slight delays, but whatever, you know. I've got plenty to do even before I finish putting the engine together, so it don't make much fucking difference either way. But it's frustrating when you're expecting something. I mean, it's Tuesday today. I was expecting that valve spring compressor to have arrived last Monday. So yeah, piss take really, but whatever. Anyway, hope you like this little video, and I will see you next time, hopefully within about a week, maybe a lot sooner. See how we get on. Ta-da.